process in order to manifest that potential.
So let's look at the time of Purim. Purim is connected, comes as part of this cycle. So after Sukkot to Pesach is like considered the winter time, right? It's considered the winter time. So everything during the winter is concealed, right? There's snow, there's rain, nothing's growing, right? You go to like a forest, all the leaves are gone, no fruits are sprouting, trees are bare. It's a time where nothing's growing. But that's only from what we see, because what's going on underneath the soil, seeds are growing. The very seeds that are growing are going to start sprouting during the time of Pesach, which is the beginning of spring. So what did they just start? Everything just started on Pesach? Everything started in Nisan? No, it started during the winter, right when everything looks as nothing is growing. Nothing's happening. What am I supposed to do? I'm doing all this work. I'm doing all this mitzvot. I'm growing. I'm changing myself, but nothing's no, but it's underneath the soil. This is what we learn out. And then after the spring, after Pesach, from Pesach to Shavuot, we have this process of beginning, new beginnings, new creation. Crops are sprouting, trees are starting to grow again. And then from Shavuot all the way to Rosh Hashanah, we have this process of harvesting, right? But it all starts right now during the time of concealment. The Yom Tovim is an influence from Shemayim. Everything that grows on planet Earth is also influenced from Shemayim. We learned this through Rabbi Hirsch. So what we're saying is that we live in a reality that we only understand when we see the everything growing in the spring, right? We see, wow, the flowers are going, let's go outside, let's have fun, we could go out, we don't have to be in the house anymore. But then it's not just that it's spring, then we have to do something with Hashem manifests. But the point is, right now, what time of the year is Purim? What's going on in nature during the time of Purim? It's coming to the end of this concealment of nature. This concealment that could conceivably make us believe. If I don't understand, like Rabbi Ishai, right? He's an educated guy. He went to school, he studied science, all these different types of things. So he had to become aware of how the functionalities of things happen, right? The functionality of the brain, the functionality of the nervous system, the functionality of systems, of how things come together. But often we separate that from the Yom Tovim. Why is it dafka right now? Because we're getting to the point, we're ultimately going to get to, why is it right now? Why is the time of Purim during the time of almost the deepest level of concealment, because it's the end of the winter, but also connected the beginning of the time of the new beginning. Right now, how could that happen? Like they say, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this up. The fact that nature, the physical nature, the physical experiences that we have in the world are all connected to each other. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that we live in a reality that we have experiences in the world, and we think these experiences are thank you, Shaz, are random, right? The experience is over there, we're over here, this thing is happening for this reason. So if I could look at Purim and say that there's going to be experiences that look dark, but underneath is the beginning of a new creation, and I could look at that based off of nature. So what's going on? What's happening? Am I connected to the system, or am I connected to the five senses? Because the five senses can't see what's growing underneath the soil. It can't see. All it knows is I went on a bad date. No, but you're the perfect person you're going to meet at this particular time, at this particular place, and it should create a mechanism called dating so you don't fall into Yeush. Ahasuerus had to throw a huge party. You had to have Haman. You had to have these things. Because without those things happening, that Torah that came down on Shavuot, okay, not different time, different group. We're talking about Bnei Israel, in the desert. No, but we're talking about now year 2, same time of the year. This new reality that comes down during Purim came through this perception that nothing was happening, that nothing was growing, that everything was concealed. And it so happens that this is what's going on in nature at the same exact time. 15th of Adar, the last month of the year, the end of that cycle, going into the spring. So maybe, you got something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rabbi Kaplan, is it Kaplan?
Mm-hmm.
In his book, Drech Hashem,
Oh.
there's a translation of the Ramchal.
The Ramchal.
Yeah, Ramchal. Sorry, I meant Ramchal.
Mm-hmm.
Ramchal says.
But Rabbi Kaplan translated it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Ramchal says, everything that we see and everything that we don't see, particularly the things that we see, they all come from the same place. Some choose to become trees. Some decided to become human, the neshamot, and so forth. And there's also another commentary that says, if you consume something and you do not give a bracha over what you have said, the energy of that thing that came to manifest itself in this world, it ceases. For it to continue is when you recite the bracha. So, what am I trying to say? Everything is concealed. To try to understand that concealment, even the prophet did not left this world without understanding that far. Sorry.
No, Baruch Hashem. This is very, very deep. L'chaim. So, based off of Rabbi Natan, if you don't understand anything I'm saying tonight, don't judge yourself.
That's right.
So, but the point is just saying that there are aspects that we can't understand. We're in Eretz Israel. There's a certain level of clarity that comes just being in the land, maybe not full clarity, depending where you're at. But the idea is to say, when we look at this idea of, just say the calendar, something we learned before in other shirim that we gave earlier, this system, when you look at this idea, so we're starting now in Purim. We're starting right now, let's say we start in Nisan, right? Say the beginning of the spring. We can say Purim is kind of like the Keter of the beginning of the spring, but the spring, let's say Nisan, the head of the year. So from Nisan to Shavuot, the sages tell us that's the time, that is the time of the spring, right? That's when everything starts blossoming, whatever. And it so happens, like we said, there's this holiday of Pesach, which is this idea of new beginnings, changing of order, right? Like Hashem gave us this gift called Pesach. He gave us a Seder, which is changing order. The order from what? Oh, the order of our lives. Okay, fine, the order of our lives. But it's also the order that there's a new order called spring, because we're in a time of concealment, which is the winter. So from Shavuot to Pesach to Shavuot, spring. Shavuot to, you say, Sukkot, that's the time of harvesting, right? That's when we stop harvesting. From Sukkot to Pesach is the winter. So we have this system of how God's influence on planet Earth works in these cycles. Oh, guess what? There's Yom Tovim during these particular times. And during the time of Pesach is the time of a new order. Shavuot is the time where we receive this high connection from Hashem. Then from Shavuot to we go to this place where in Rosh Hashanah, in Yom Kippur, where we're able to go back to the future, right? The movie, right? Back to the Future. We're able to go back to the future and fix everything. But the point is saying the only way you can fix everything is if you have total revealment. You can't fix things in concealment, in darkness. You need light. So we have holidays that are literally based off of this idea of total revealment, where you could fix everything, even past lives. So from Rosh Hashanah, we go into Sukkot. I mean, we go to Yom Kippur, which is part of, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, or brother and sister in a way, in this place of total revealment. But the sages say like this: Yom Kippur is like Purim, right?
No, the opposite.
Purim is like Yom Kippur?
Yom Kippur is Yom Kippurim.
Yom
So
Kippurim.
The Yom Kippur is like Purim.
Yes.
That's why they say that Purim is actually higher.
Exactly. So how can we understand this idea of total revealment that happens during this time of the summer being connected this time during the end of the winter? So here's my answer, and this goes into the original point, and we're going to almost finish it off unless anybody has any questions or points, because I'm trying to keep them short and sweet these days. Keep it short and sweet and just leave with a few ideas to really think about. If we're saying that the God's influence in this world works in a system, where we can see the system manifest itself during the seasons of the year, we could see the system manifesting itself during the different situations that the Jewish people went through, right? Rosh Hashanah, man was created, 6th day of creation, connected to where everything, the harvest is at its height. Nature is totally revealed. It's the summer heat is burning down on you. Just like we have Pesach, which is the time of new beginnings. Just like we have Purim, which is during a time of concealment. Just like we said earlier that Chaim Belezner says that, your shidduch is waiting for you. It's right there, it's going to happen. And you got to go through a process of dating, because this process of dating is one building you, because you learn about yourself from this dating. Because how can you be successful in life if 15 things don't go the right way for you and you get down on yourself? No, you should say it's automatic. It's going to happen no matter what. Hashem said, that's it. Hashem said. So now we get in this process of understanding this first question. This first question is, how could Hashem create a world where I have to honor my parents? They weren't there for me. They weren't good people. I never even knew them. How could I honor? I never even knew. There's kids in foster homes right now. They're supposed to honor their parents. They don't even know who they are. But God says you have to. Because when we get to this point and we understand that we're only functioning in an exact order. That's it. That's it. The Bantus are coming in.
The Bantus are coming.
The Bantus are
You
coming.
guys have like a war cry or something? Or?
Maybe. We found out on my dad's side. So the point is to say that this idea of total revealment is this idea of understanding that there's an order to everything. There's an order to everything. One of the things I remember Rabbi Rush said in, I'm trying to think what sefer it was. I don't want to mess it up. I think it was like the king in the field. It's all about Hashbadadus. Something with the Is it called that? So one of the things he says, failing is from Hashem. When you fail at something, it's from Hashem. When things don't go right, it's from Hashem. Along when things go well. But the question is, how do you react to it? If Hashem puts the wrong words into your mouth at a particular time, right? right? Hashem puts the wrong words into your mouth. How do you react to that? Hashem, what'd you tell me to say this for? Are we really there? Like I'm saying, because it's a level. It's a level. To sit back and say, like, when I said the right things, like I'm speaking right now, maybe I'm saying something good, maybe I'm not. Maybe I think I'm saying something good. That's the reason why I keep talking. But the point is saying, Hashem is saying these things, right? But I've been in other situations, talking to people, whatever, and I said something that I really thought was right, but it was absolutely the wrong thing to say, right? So Hashem is putting the right words in your mouth, and he's putting the wrong words in your mouth. So the question is, what is my bechira? What is my free will? How do I respond when when he puts the right words in my mouth? I know exactly what to say. I know exactly. I feel great. I want to go out. I say l'chaim, whatever. But when the bad words come, the wrong words to say, when the wrong words come into my mouth, what do I do then? What do I do then when I'm not sensitive? What do I do when I'm only thinking about myself? What do I do when I could have went left, but I went right? What do I do then? Do I also see the perfection in Hashem at that moment and say like, Hashem put me in a situation where I had terrible parents and they weren't there for me, but I got to still honor them. Who are the parents?
Hashem.
Ima and Abba. We're talking about energy forces that come into our lives. We're talking about we're talking about spheros that are coming from the upper worlds that come into our makshava, that give us our thoughts, that give us our emotions, that give us our physical actions, that gives us our perception of reality. It's energy forces. These are our parents. These are our true parents. So the point is saying, when do I honor them for good or for bad? The parents in Olam Hazeh were not there for me, but Hashem says I got to honor them. But I had this idea. I created this argument. I did this bad business deal. I lost all this money. I spent this. I did this. I didn't tell the truth. I committed this avera. I didn't do all these different things. All these things came to me. These were energy influences from Shammai, from above. So do I say, Hashem, I honor my mistakes. I honor the people who went against me. I honor the people who lied on me. I honor the people who cheated. I honor the people who stole. I honor the people who killed. I honor all of them because they're all from you, Hashem. Or do I go into another place where I don't honor my parents? I don't honor my parents. Baruch atah Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.